edit on the video. Okay, so here is what I saw as one of the answers, that this was the equation that that was out there, and that they felt that this was the equation that matched the array. Okay? So I saw this, and I'm wondering what you're thinking. Why do you think someone would choose this equation or expression to match this array? And I also want you to think about, is that the right expression to match the array? And if it isn't, why do you think they would have chosen that? So turn and talk to your partner, and I want you to think about, is this the right one? Why do you think they chose that? But there's, so you know for sure that that's the person, right? Because that's 12. But what? But okay, so that's one reason. Why else do you think they would have chosen that? So they saw the groups here, 4 groups, 4 columns. Okay, so come back together. Let's talk about why you think this is the right or not solution. So who wants to share their thinking about what you thought? What are you guys saying? Why? How did you? Is it the right answer or not? The right? It's not. So what? How did you know it wasn't? Did y'all hear what he said?
12 dots.
Oh, he said this actually equals 16. But there's how many dots?
12.
12. So when we put all those together, did it equal 12?
No.
No. But remember,
16.
it equals 16. So we knew it wasn't right that way. But remember, part of our success criteria was to explain this, right? So yeah, you're right there. But why do you think someone picked this one by accident? What do you think?
It's because they thought it was 4 of the 4.
4 of the 4s. Did you hear what he said?
Yep.
They thought it was 4 4s. Where do we see 4 of anything in this array? Where do you see 4 of anything in this array?
Where you go across like this.
This way? What do we call those in an array? Do you remember?
A row. Column.
Columns, right. So they saw 4 groups. Wouldn't you agree? They saw 4 groups, so they're like, well, we must need 4 things. But the problem was, it was 4 groups. They had the 4 groups, but it was the wrong size. Interesting. So, yeah, what was your thought? Let me put the next solution up if I figure out how to erase.
Well, I thought it was this 4 plus 4 plus 4.
Uh-huh. Oh, so the next solution I was going to say was that we had this one up. Probably my finger to erase would be much better. Thank you for the you're so great. Thank you. All right. So back to my pen. We don't know. Okay. So the next solution that I was going to show you was the one that our friend here was just talking about. So I had someone else who had this one. They only had 3 4s. Try to talk to your neighbor. Is that one right, and why?
They're right because they're columns.
Okay, so let's come back together. Let's hear what you're thinking. So we knew that 4 4s wasn't right, but we saw what people were thinking because there were 4 groups. But what was the problem? Talk to me.
That they equaled it because they were columns.
Oh, because they looked at columns. What should they have been looking at? Rows. Do y'all see that? Here, y'all agree?
Yeah.
That there are, here's a row, here's a row, here's a row. So I have one group of 4. Agree? Another group of 4. And then another group of 4. So our first solution, they knew there were some groups in there. They just had the wrong size. So they had looked at the different groups. This time we knew there were 3 groups of 4. So we're done. We found all of our answers, right? We're all done. We solved our problem for the day. We found all the equations that match the array. Do you agree? We're done?
Yay!
Yeah? Okay, well I have one more for y'all to look at then because I I need some feedback on this solution. Are you ready? Okay, let me see if I can use my finger and that would go faster. No? Yes?
You gotta use it with
One finger? Oh, okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you helping
This
me.
feels she did that mistake by going like this.
Like, you just rub it
Yeah.
like that. Hold that. It doesn't work with your hand, does it? It needs your finger.
No.
Okay, well,
You made that mistake.
all the things we learn from our mistakes, right?
Yes.
If this takes a really long time, there's got to be a better way. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, there is a better way.
What is it?
Yeah, the pen would work better
You
for.
think? I think you're right.
I wish you could just put a real eraser on it and then it'd write.
Told you there was a better way. Look at that. Did y'all see that? What she did? Click right here.
Yes.
Thank you. That saved me about 5
Thank
minutes.
you, Miss Linda.
Okay, so you all said, and I'm going to go ahead and write this back up here, that this was, oh, here they are, that this was definitely a right answer, right?
Yeah.
Because we had 3 groups of 4. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, there was another answer that I need your help on, because why would this person put this one? They wrote this one. I need you to turn and talk. What do you think? Is it right? Is it wrong? What did they do wrong if it's wrong? If it's right, why? Why is it right?
It should have been 3 plus 3 plus 3.
What do y'all think? What do y'all think? It's right? Why is it right? I got you. Okay, let's come back together. So talk to me. Right or wrong? I hear right, I hear wrong. Who wants to defend an answer? In the back there, what did y'all talk about in your group?
We said that because there's 4 B's and 4 C's in the equation, and that there's 3's in the 4 columns of 3's.
Oh, what was that word she just said? They're columns. So the first group, our first one we proved was right. We looked at the rows were our groups. And you're saying the what is our groups back there? Columns. Do y'all see that?
Yes.
So this is a group of 3. This is a group of 3. Y'all see the 2 groups of 3?
Uh-huh.
3 groups of 3? Oh, and 4 groups of 3. So what do you think? Was this right?
Yeah.
It was. Y'all, that can't be true. In math, there's only one answer. Right? What? You taught me so much that you know how to work the board. But I heard someone else say this also equals 12. So that's kind of how we could check ourselves, right? But remember, when we were learning to represent arrays with equations today, we had to explain why. So that's what you guys are doing now. You explained that this was correct because we had 3 groups of 4. Here were our 3 groups of 4. And then we had to write our groups as 3 groups of 4. Or we had 4 columns and the size was 3. Interesting. So, yes sir, what was your question?
What I was going to say is the 4 lines equals 12 and the ones that go down equals 12.
Did y'all hear what he said? That it's 12 here. How could I count? How could I tell that there was 12? I mean, I could add them up, but what's another thing I could do? Count. 4. All right, count individually. Can we skip count? 4. What would 8, 12. Let's count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12. So either way, we're getting 12, right? But okay, back to remember our success criteria. I want to talk about one more thing. So y'all are telling me that both of these answers are correct. And none of these other answers are correct.
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
So this answer right here looks a whole bunch like this one, except for one little thing.
It's 4.
And this little answer right here looks a whole bunch like this one, except for one little thing.
It's 3.
I need you to tell me why these aren't right. Because I see 3 groups. I see 4 groups. Y'all told me there were 3 groups. You told me there were 4 groups. But I want you to talk to your partner about why these aren't right. And here's what I want you to use these words. I need you to use the words groups and the size of the group as you're explaining to your partner about why these aren't correct. Got it?
Yeah.
Talk to your partner.
Okay.
Why is 3 plus 3 plus 3 not right? It's got 3 groups. I don't know what the problem is.
It adds up to a different number.
It does add up to something other than 12, but why else do we know it's not right? Remember the words groups and group size we want to use?
Because the person that probably thought it was right, they probably just like to do like no, it's like it was like add up.
Yeah. So what's the group size up here in the 3 plus 3 plus 3? What's the size of the group?
4.
In that equation, the size of the group is what? What do you think? Yeah, so if we're looking at the 3 plus 3 plus 3, this is the size of the group. So if I was going to make this array, I would make a group of 3, a group of 3, and another group of 3. You would. You're exactly right. Okay, gotcha. Alright, so back to me. Let's wrap this up. So you guys were talking at your group using the words groups and group size about why these two weren't right. Because I'm arguing that they're right. Because that's a group, that's a group, that's a group. Y'all told me there were 3 groups. So talk to me. Why is that one not right?
Because it's less than the 4.
Okay, use the word size and tell me what is wrong.
The
The size of what?
size of the 3 is not a column.
Y'all agree? Do you see what she means about the size? Like, here's my group. The 3, these are my 3 groups. Every add-in is a group of something, right? So here's my group. She's saying the size is wrong. What should the size be?
4.
4, like this one, right?
Yeah.
So this person picked this one. They just misinterpreted it and thought that the size was 3 instead of the size.
3 ones.
Exactly. And so same thing for this one. If I picked this one, I knew that there were 4 columns or 4 groups. So I picked 4, but the size of the group should be how much?
3.
3. Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
So when you're representing your arrays with equations, you have to look. How many add-ins should I have? That's how many groups I have in rows or columns, right? And when I put which kind of add-in should I write a 3 or a 4? Well, how big is the row? Or how big is the column? And that's how I'm figuring that out. I love how y'all discovered that today as you were talking through your work. I have a little exit ticket for you because you guys are about to go to special area. I think that's what y'all call it. And so this can go. And then you guys are going, oh, that's not even what we're doing. So we're just going to take that out. Here is your exit ticket. So on your exit ticket that I'm passing out, it's one question. And it asks you to do what we did today. It says below is an array that shows how students lined up for a race. It needs you to write 2 equations. How many equations do you have to write? 2 equations that show how many students are in the race. And then explain, what's that word we did in our success criteria? Explain, right? Our thinking. So you have to explain why both equations are correct. And you may have to finish both afterwards. So you guys pass those out. There you go. All right, so everybody should have their exit ticket until it's time to line up. You're working on that. One problem. What are your